Hey guys, it's Mr. B and welcome back to the Mr. B Reads series. This is the series where I read you some of my favourite picture books, funny voices and all. Today we're going to be reading a book that I used to read when I was a child. And I'm going to let you on a little secret. When I was a kid, I was afraid of the dark. But this book helped me see that actually dark is a mixture of all lots of different things. It's wonderful, it's necessary, it's beautiful, it's magical, it's peaceful. This book helped me a lot. This book is The Owl Who Was Afraid of the Dark. So, let's begin, shall we? The Owl Who Was Afraid of the Dark by Jill Tomlinson and illustrated by Paul Howard.
I don't want to be a night bird,
Plop told his mummy.
The dark is nasty.
You don't know that, she said. You'd better find out about the dark before you make up your mind about it. Look, there's a little boy down there. Go and ask him. So Plop, who was quite new at flying, took a deep breath and flew down. "Oh!" cried the little boy as Plop landed with a somersault. "Hello," Plop said. I've come to find out about the dark." "Oh," said the boy. "Dark it's exciting, especially tonight because we're having fireworks." "Does it have to be dark?" asked Plop. "Of course," replied the boy. "You can't see the fireworks unless it's dark. Look out for them a bit later." "Well," said Mrs. Barn Owl when Plop arrived back at the nest, "the little boy says that dark is exciting," said Plop. "But I still don't like it at all. But I will watch the fireworks if you will sit by me." "We will sit by you," said his mummy and daddy. So that is exactly what they did. When the last firework had faded away, Mr. Barn Owl went hunting. All night he brought food back to Plop until daylight came and it was time for bed. Halfway through the morning, Plop woke up. Mrs. Barn Owl opened one bleary eye. "Plop, dear," she said, "why don't you find out some more about the dark? Go and ask that nice old lady in the deck chair." So Plop landed by the old lady with a thump. "Hello," he said. I've come to ask you about the dark. I want to go hunting with my mummy and daddy, but they always go hunting in the dark, and I'm afraid of it." "How very odd," said the lady. "Now, I love the dark. Dark is kind. I can forget that I'm old and I can sit and remember all the good times." I don't have much to remember yet," said Plop. "I'm rather new, you see." "Well," said his mummy as Plop flew up to the landing branch, "the old lady said that dark is kind," said Plop. "But I still don't like it at all." That evening, when both his parents went hunting, Plop closed his eyes and tried to remember something to remember. Suddenly, he heard a happy shout, and Plop forgot about being afraid of the dark. He peered through the leaves and saw a boy sitting by a fire. Plop flew down, landing with an enormous thud. "Hello," said Plop. "I've come to see what's going on." "I'm guarding the campfire," said the boy. "The others have gone to play games in the dark. Lucky things." Do you like the dark?" asked Plop. "Ah, it's super," said the boy. "The dark is fun. We're going to make cocoa and sing around the fire. Would you like to stay?" So Plop stayed. The boys sang until the fire had sunk to a red glow. Then Plop said goodbye and flew home. "Well," said his mummy, "where have you been?" "I met a boy and he says that the dark is fun. But I still don't like the dark at all. But I think campfires are super." Plop woke up the next afternoon and went out on the landing branch. "Plop," said Mrs. Barn Owl, "go and find out about the dark again. See what that little girl down there says." Plop landed by the little girl with a bounce. "Hello," he said. "I've come to ask you about the dark. Do you like it?" "Oh, of course I do," she replied. "Dark is necessary. Without the dark, Father Christmas wouldn't come, and you'd have an empty stocking on Christmas Day." "I don't have a stocking," said Plop. So the little girl took off one of her Wellingtons and gave him her sock. "Here," she said, "hang it up on Christmas Eve." "Oh, thanks," said Plop, and he returned to his mummy. "Well," said Mrs. Barn Owl, "the little girl says that the dark is necessary because of Father Christmas coming," Plop said. "But I still don't like it at all. But I am going to hang up this sock on Christmas Eve for Santa." Plop slept nearly all day, but by the evening he was wide awake. "It's getting up time, Daddy!" he shouted, butting his father in the tummy. Mr. Barn Owl looked up at the sky. "Not quite yet, Plop," he said. "Wait till it's dark." That night, Plop watched his parents take off to go hunting again. Looking through the leaves, he saw a man standing on the ground below. So Plop flew down, landing with a gentle bump. "Oh, good heavens!" cried the man. "You startled me." "Hello," said Plop. What's that you've got there?" This is a telescope," said the man. "It's for looking at stars and planets at night time." "I don't like the dark very much," said Plop. "Really?" said the man. But dark is wonderful. I'll show you." The man with the telescope showed Plop lots of stars and how they made patterns in the sky. He pointed out the bright pole star, the plough, the dog star, and Orion, the great hunter. Plop said thank you, and he flew back to his mummy and daddy. "A man with a telescope showed me the stars," Plop told them, "and he says that the dark is wonderful." That morning, Plop had his supper in bed, and then, like a real night bird, he slept right through the day. When Plop woke, it was almost dark. "Now who's a day bird?" he shouted at the darkness. Plop looked at his sleepy parents. He wasn't going to hang about for them. He might miss something. Plop floated down and landed like a soft white feather. Under the tree, he saw a black cat. "Hello," said the cat. I was just going exploring. Won't you come with me?" "I would like to, I think," said Plop. But I'm afraid of the dark." But the dark is beautiful, said the cat. Look around you. Plop looked. The moon had risen. Everything was bathed in its white light. Ah, yes, the moonlight is magic, said the cat. Come with me, and I will show you the nighttime world of cats and owls. Will you come? I will, said Plop. The cat took Plop up to the rooftops, and they looked down over the sleeping town. This is my world, said Plop. I am a night bird after all. And this is only one sort of night, said the cat. There are lots of other kinds. All are beautiful. Thanks for showing me, said Plop. I must go now, and I'll tell my mummy and daddy. Good night, said the black cat, and many, many more good nights. Plop flew straight back to his tree. Well, said his mummy. Plop took a deep breath. Well, the small boy said the dark is exciting. The old lady said dark is kind. The campfire boy said that dark is fun. The little girl said dark is necessary. The man with the telescope said the dark is wonderful. And the black cat said the dark is beautiful. What do you think, Plop? Asked his mummy. Plop looked up at his parents with twinkling eyes. I think, he said, I think the dark is super! Then Plop took off to go hunting in the dark, with Mr. and Mrs. Barn Owl on each side and Plop in the middle. The end. Hi guys, thank you for listening to my rendition of The Owl Who Was Afraid of the Dark. Please support the official release and I'll see you next time. Take care.